Hi,
Hi,
Hello
Patsy.
there.
nice
Thanks for
to
having
see
us.
you.
Thank you. Happy
Oh,
anniversary.
thank you. Thank you. This is very special. It's a very
Yes, it
special day
is.
for me. 10 years ago, on St. Patrick's Day, I started Joy on Paper, the syndicated radio program. And then a year ago, I started this YouTube channel, which is lots of fun because now I can see everybody.
Yes, and we
So,
can see you too. It's a treat.
okay, we started with a little music, and I know that George is going to be singing for us in a little while. So that's very exciting for me. And Andrea,
So,
of
so
course, Andrea, I call you my super fan because you have been journaling joy on paper for so many years and giving me a lot of joy just in seeing your journal entries. And then you
Thank
told me
you.
that you did something special for George. My
I was
goodness.
sorry.
So, what is this that you've done for George? And I'm going to
Okay,
show it
well,
in a minute.
I was journaling for Joy and Paper on paper since 2018, and he has watched me journal, and he's my eyes because when I'm making a likeness of the author, he's the one who really says that he's like the one that says if it really looks like them or not, if I have to do it over. He's been my eyes through the whole thing. But since he's been seeing me do all of these journal pages, he said, "Hey, why don't you do one for me?" So his birthday came around and I put together one for him because he's been through a lot in the past since 2021 when he lost his vision for several months. And so I decided I had to do something for him that sort of is a journal of him coming out of that and what he did about that.
We have them, and I want to show them, and then you can talk about them while I show them. And this
Okay.
first one, I love this. It's so colorful, it's so bright, and it's we tap our feet and dance. So tell us about this one.
Yeah. This is dedicated to his music room that he put together himself. It took him about 5 years to get all the parts together for his music room. He's got a lot of really amazing equipment in there. And when we have people over, a lot of times he'll have one or two people come into the music room and we'll all squeeze in and they'll play and we tap our feet and sing along if we want to. There's no rules and it's just wonderful to have him in the house because he's a joy because he always makes music and he's always making me come in and listen to his sketches, he says. So I have him look at my sketches and he has me look at his music sketches.
for the sake of redundancy, okay, with the joy part, okay, the joy is actually Andrew. So, as you all know, I mean, we've been together close to 35 years or so. And even when I was going through the toughest time, it was nothing more, to tell you the truth, fear is when you think you might go blind, okay? So all of a sudden reality sets in and say, hold on, I can't see this anymore, see that anymore. And being married to Andrea, first of all, art alone, just that factor alone, I won't be able to ever see Andrea's art again. That's not a good feeling. Okay, obviously, without being completely, again, the redundancy of joy and joy. I just thought I'd bring that up as an irony to the whole joy on paper thing and honoring how long you've been in it as far as your show is concerned. But the bottom line, the true joy is Andrea. Okay, she's going to keep saying it's me, but I guess we feel that way about each other. That just might be a testimony in time. It just might be what the whole story is all about. That's bottom line. So
Exactly.
go ahead.
Yeah,
Well, I know Andrea likes to watch you, but you also have a cat here watching you.
he has a cat watching him because he's singing Stray Cat Strut at the place called The Social, which is this enormous cafe. Huge. It's not a cafe, it's a restaurant with you can sit on the
We like
seat.
to get everybody up and dancing,
Yeah,
so that's why I know
and he
that's
does.
fun.
He got them up
And
dancing. It
everybody
was
gets
so
up and
great.
dance,
It's
so that's the
karaoke, but
coolest.
it's so huge. It's a very expensive place, and it's very nice. And it was really good for him to
It's
sing there.
fancy. That's all
Yeah,
it
it's
is.
fancy. But
It's okay.
before he went and started doing all this karaoke, and he bought some hats. He bought the hat that he's wearing, and he bought a fedora, and he
Okay.
changed his name. Tell
So
them
can
your
I
name.
interfere? Huh?
Can I tell them your name?
Sure, absolutely.
He's going by the name G Man.
The G Man.
The G Man.
It was a rebirth.
Aha.
Okay. After finally getting the eyesight back,
Yeah.
realize, okay, if I don't get my eyesight back the way I'm praying I get it, I have to start doing something. So the way to do it is by putting on the hat, if you will, the whole persona thing. The G Man was somebody that was actually going to preach the music that I love, okay, or the music that Andrea and I grew up with, the music most of us
Right.
really know, okay, and that era itself, but also teach it to the youngers today because it fascinates me to see that those that really want to get into it don't really have too many sources to learn other than say YouTube or whatever, but they don't really get to hear the stories behind it and or other things that might be able to make them understand what the music was all about, if you will, the 70s music as opposed to today. Okay, there's a lot of vulgarity, a lot of nonsense.
Yeah.
I'm not really, Angie and I aren't really into it. And we're not exactly listening to Frank Sinatra. We're not exactly listening to the Eagles either, right? The bottom line is, I wanted to find a way where I can pay it forward with the youngers. That was the one main thing. At least the music, pick up a guitar. What can I help you with, or what do you want to sing better? What have you? That kind of a thing. So basically, it's paying it forward. We didn't have any children, Angie and I. So basically, she's had to deal with. I'm her only child, really. No,
He gets taken care of.
yeah, very well taken care of. Okay.
Oh, we went to the Marines club. Yeah, we joined the club for a year to donate some money to them.
And it was a blast singing in front of the Marines
so
and singing with them, and as far as their stories, if you will.
We met some pretty amazing people. One of the Marines happened to go on Oprah Winfrey because he learned he taught himself how to color an eye retina and perform.
That'll get too complicated, honey. Yeah, he got involved with something that was even on the Oprah show. But here's the funny thing. You know what the best part was? We actually felt younger. We felt younger. They're actually a little older than us. So youth being part of the attraction was a blast with Andrea. No, we met some really cool people. We ended up they broke everything up. They got very political in their own situations there.
Yeah, we just went 1 year.
Yeah, we enjoyed it. It was great because again, it was veterans.
Yeah, and my dad was a Marine, so it was.
And they sang 60 songs. Okay, Pat. More. Yeah, mostly they get up there. Very good stuff. It was good, but again, it was a blast.
Yeah.
Again,
well,
with the
and you mentioned liking to work with young people and teaching young people. So who's in this photo, in this drawing?
Yeah, this is Ileana Fotopoulos. She's only 18. She came over when she was 17, and George.
Just amazing. Okay, actually, you know what? Yeah, she's actually a born performer, but in a sense, a stylist. Okay, she's 100% stylist. Okay,
she's amazing. We did a children's book together and got it published. And she also became the world champion in dance. Yeah, she's a world champion dancer on top of everything else, and we saw that, and it was beautiful. We didn't know it. We couldn't believe she was so elegant, beautiful. But then again, she wonderful ballroom dancer. She's got a partner, and she won the championship. We didn't even know there was a world championship. Her mother told me about it.
I tell you the truth, I see her as a quasi niece now in a way, both of us. I know just a sweet, wonderful. I mean, she's got everything going for her. Okay, we got like two like that. Her talent is amazing.
Behind me, I have her book.
That is her book.
Yeah.
I still see Gloria. Is it? Yeah, it is. I can't see it.
It's Ileana the iguana.
Oh, is it?
Right there, yeah.
Oh, I can't see it. Okay,
the light blue with the green is the iguana.
Okay, I see it.
It was just a brainstormed idea. In fact, I really do love making books with others. So we brainstorm on it and say, bye, Andrea, and this person who's only 6 years old, or this person who's 45, or whatever it is.
So again, younger, right? Paying it forward again. So between the two of us. So basically, that's why we feel there's so much harmony. I started to myself and Andrea because of art and music. Just think about that. That defines harmony itself. Exactly. And we're the living proof of that. So it's amazing. Right? Here we are every day. I'm retired now, so I'm not working like I used to. So we are together every day, and you think we're getting each other's hair and everything else. So actually, no. Truth is, I just enjoy her in my space that much more. The harmony's definitely there. It's by definition, but it's also by practice, right? If you really think about it,
something to work on.
We just enjoy each other every day. It's funny, St. Patrick's, because you know how people say, I want to eventually, I might want to free up and see my boys. And back in the day, play golf or play ball, that kind of stuff. That's one thing, right? But even with Andrea every day, it's still a joy because believe it or not, the person that you see is exactly who she is at home. Okay? There's no posturing here. There's no, as a younger say, fronting. Andrea is who she is, exactly as you see it.
I think that's Patsy's show. I've never seen anybody that was not. Wasn't believable on her show. They're always.
I mean, Patsy, even for yourself, you can say. There's not one fake bone. There's not one fake bone in Andrea's body, if I can say.
I know that. I know you both are very generous with your time and thoughtful about sharing your music and sharing, in Andrea's case, sharing all her beautiful artwork.
She's forget about it. She's got her legacy. It's all over the place.
She's amazing. She's amazing. So, and I understand, George, that you've written a song for her.
I did a song for her. It's all detailed, but it actually culminates a lot of things. Now, listen, it's going to be a little sloppy because it's more guitar oriented, but just for the sake of time. And
there's no rush. Go ahead and sing for Andrea. No, you can stay in. Andrea, stay in. I think you can stay.
All right, listen.
Okay.
I rewrote that. I actually rewrote it.
George is going to sing us a song.
Okay, just for fun, okay? All right. Okay. No microphone, nothing like that. No pomp and circumstance. Just have my trusty guitar here and one of many. Happy to say. Hang on a second, baby. Yeah, and then, I just want to get the guitar in the picture too, just so.
Okay, this is fun.
Is it okay? Can you see it?
Yeah, we see you fine.
Okay, so it's rising, shining through the blinds. Hair's a bit messy, but you still look fine as you rise and shine. Always my favorite time, coffee brewing slowly, waking up with you. There's magic in the morning when just us two. You're the first thing on mind as I rise, motivated by that little twinkle in your eye. I know I'm a lucky guy, so blessed and grateful loving you. Wouldn't want it any other way. Let's dance the morning away. You're the melody in my heart, sunshine when it rains. My rock, my life, my everything, my beauty and my pain. It's magic in the morning when just us two. Baby, it makes it easy just loving you. The laughter in the room, the soft and sweet face. Show me love can't be beat. I turn to you when the world's unsure. Nothing together we can't endure. Man, I chose wisely, and that's for sure. You're the melody in my heart, sunshine through the rain. My rock, my life, my everything, my beauty and my pain. This morning in the more magic in the morning when just us two. Baby, you make it easy loving you. Anyway, something like that.
Hey, I love it, George. I love it.
Thank you.
Uh,
That's just
oh,
inspiring.
well.
It's just how I feel when I'm with you. So basically,
It's great. It's a wonderful way that you can give each other gifts. Andrea can give you her wonderful drawings, and you can give her your beautiful music. Absolutely terrific.
well, guess what? They all need inspiration, don't they? So if you're gonna say that she did the journal of me, which is I thought was amazing, but then again with Andrea, it's almost I take it for granted. But I tell you what, I also drive her nuts because I will not let her settle for less than the best of her own. So in other words, the whole inspiration with especially with Andrea and myself is to make sure I always want to bring out the best in her through herself because Andrea's always more talented than she shows. Okay,
He's my
it doesn't.
treat for my eyes. He's got
All
pictures.
right, let's get back to art music, right? The harmony. There you go. How's that for proof?
Exactly. A beautiful harmony. Now, I'm going to talk to Andrea for a little
By all
while.
means,
Just
I'll be
well,
more
wait,
than happy to.
but
Stay here.
George, think about it, and when we're ready to log off, I'd like you to play another song for us, one of your other songs, okay? Is that
Okay,
okay?
sure.
So
Be
you
sure.
think
Okay, no
about which
problem.
song you want to do. So now, Andrea, if you could be,
So,
I'm going to put you on a smaller camera. That's why I'm just going to have
by all
one of
means,
you.
please, let me step away anyway. It's fine.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
Okay.
So
right.
Andrea, you go in the center,
You
and
got it.
Okay.
George will
You got
come
it.
back in a little while. Okay. Great, Andrea. Yeah, move to the center a little bit.
This way, right?
Good.
How's that? Okay.
Okay. Now, Andrea is going to be talking now about some of her artwork, and you can explain a little bit about your background too, but then let's talk about your artworks. You've been drawing since you were a kid, right?
Yeah, ever since I was like 2 years old and I could reach the bunnies on the back of the crib to trace with my finger, I always loved drawing. There's kids that just love it. I encounter them at church all the time and try to help out with them on the big murals that I bring once a month to them. And they paint murals and they make up their stories now, which is really fun with different markers. And I used to do it when I was 4 too, so I know they can do it. A 4-year-old can draw and a 6-year-old can, a 4-year-old can scribble, but the 6-year-olds make up their stories. and they
Yes.
draw. They just go to it and they do it. It's amazing. That's how I was. And my mom just always, she always encouraged me, and my grandmother too. My grandmother used to take me out sketching with her, and that was always helpful. I think it's really, I had other influences like artists in my hometown, and I was an apprentice to a couple of artists in Huntington Bay, where they ran a school out of their mansion. And I went to lessons there 5 days a week. And then I became a little student teacher when I was 15. I would take out the clay and help the children draw. And I took all the life drawing classes that I could when I was like 14 and up. And so between the ages of 12 and 19, I was always there. So I learned a lot there, and that was like to prepare you for college, but it was like going to college.
And you,
So after that, I took classes at St. Martin's School of Art in London, and then I came back here and I took some more classes at Parsons School of Design, and then excuse me, I went to the Institute of Children's Literature and graduated with 3 years of a writing course for kids. So I loved both. But yeah, my background is just doing it on my own, just loving to do it. Right now, I just put in 2 or 3 hours a day. I'm drawing something. I usually draw every day. And I encountered someone who draws every day online the other day by the name of Danny Gregory. And he runs a school called Sketchbook School. And I thought that was so interesting because I always believed that the sketchbook was my strength, my favorite medium. I've done murals with acrylic paint. I've done huge murals for a school and a church. And I've done oil paintings for Father Panayotis Papa Giorgio, who lives in Marietta, Georgia. He married us, so he asked me to do him some paintings. So I sent him some, and he's a very good friend. And we've been doing it all my life. I like to go out and do people's houses, and then they pay me to draw their house and color it. And they come out really, they're illustrations of the house, and it's like my style. And I used to use pen and ink a lot, the dip quill. And now I use the dip quill a little bit. I started doing that again. And I do use also the micron marker, which a lot of illustrators use. And Danny Gregory, who has the sketchbook school online, he's really a genius with the computer, I'm sure, to do this. But he sent me I wrote to him and he sent me an email back the next day saying my journal pages are a wonderful project and that my pages are lovely. And that made me feel so good. It made me just want to keep doing it. So that's why
well,
I'm still doing your journal pages.
they are lovely. And
Thank
what
you.
made you decide to do the journal pages for Joy on Paper?
I
Because that is, it has been such a thrill for me to discover that you've been doing it for so long.
It's funny because I was taking a break from all the drawing and doing some writing with that children's book writing class, right? And that was back in 2017. And then in 2018, I I discovered your show with my writers group that I was in, but I love to do the drawings more. So what I did was I started writing what the authors were saying on your show because I found it interesting because I was on the show with the writers group that I was in. After I was on with the group, I started listening, and then I was like, "Wow, I wonder what that book's all about." And I started taking notes, and then the notes started being little doodles, and then I noticed that I really like my doodles better than my notes. So then I said, I'm going to just do as many doodles as I can and send them to Patsy. I wonder if she'll like them. And I got such good vibes from you. Every email I sent you would answer me back. It was like Danny Gregory. It was like they're answering me back. This is so wild. So then I was like, I've gotta do this. So I started doing almost every one, and you were like, had no idea you were going to do every one. And then you invited me, and then you made a little story about me and my journal page, and you did this whole big graphic design of me doing my journal pages, and you called it Andrea's Journal for when you had the radio show. And it came up on the radio, and I was so proud of that. And then you offered to give me jobs doing illustrations, and I did work for you. And I know you're doing some beautiful work yourself, the Elizabeth's Garden book. And I know you're working on a story about India too. And I know you asked me to do a drawing of your dad in pencil, which I did do. And I get work from my network group that I'm in on Fridays, all because of you. I showed my illustrations that I did for I'll Dry on Paper at my network group, and people ordered portraits from me because of that.
You are a joy. Really, you have become a major joy in my life. So let's talk a little bit about some of your paintings. I think some of the ones that you've done in Tarpon Springs, I think they are done.
Not Tarpon Street. That's the Tarpon Spring. That's the Tarpon Springs sponge boat. It's a famous attraction in Tarpon Springs, and George was there when I did it. I did half of the boat with the pilings and the sponges hanging from it. I ran out of time because it was pen and ink, and that takes a lot of time. I think I did a little bit of pencil first, and then I went on the spot. I was sitting on a bucket, I think it was upside down bucket, and I would just do the lines with the pen and the crow quill. And then I had to go home, and then I came back the next day and did the other half of the boat. And that's what George said was so amazing to him, that I could do it in 2 days and go back and do the
Just
same
look at the detail.
thing.
Look
But
at the detail.
and I picked out some birds and put them in the picture and tried to make it more of a little story art. Now, when I do my drawings, I like to make it into story art by putting something happening in the drawing.
Exactly.
You
Now,
really appreciate that.
explain to people, for people who don't know Tarpon Springs, explain why it's very important, and explain the people why Greek is so important.
George can help me with
Yeah.
that because
Hey, George, tell us.
Well, what happened was they realized that there was a market that was there that was untapped, and the market itself was a sponge business. Okay, it was rich in sponges. The Gulf of America was loaded with sponges at the time, especially in that area, as far as Anclote and this whole area. The waters are more shallow, but very rich in sponge. Out in the sand, there's a lot of sunlight, so they grow rather profusely. Anyway, so the Greeks came with the knowledge of diving by wearing weighted suits, if you will, with a line, with an air hose line. So basically, it was a risky proposition because there was a lot of danger involved as well. But the Greeks came and they capitalized on that, and lo and behold, from the sponge business itself, came fishing and everything else that came along. But they actually took that and they took that market, created it, and Tarpon Springs itself is basically rooted mostly in the sponge industry, and the Greek heritage is also related to that. Plus, when they throw the cross in the water and all the young men dive to retrieve the cross from the bottom of the bay itself, that being the tradition every May, Andy, every May.
Yep, every May.
Okay, that's also part of that as well. So it's also rooted in religion and rooted in the sponge industry and rooted in Greek heritage. Okay, but right now it's more touristy than anything else.
There's a sponge diver. That's him himself. That's the statue of the sponge diver down in Tarpon Springs.
Yep.
The famous statue. And I was very happy that I captured it in the line with some of the shadows. I'm working on shadows more now.
Fantastic.
There's always more to work on with art. It's something you can do for your whole life. I chose it a long time ago. I remember I was taking ballet, dance, and tap, and not tap, but I was taking dance classes, and the dance class teacher told me, I know you do a lot of artwork too. I was like 17. He goes, you have to pick one that you're going to be devoted to. So I decided art because I figured I could do that when I'm older, and when I'm older, I won't be able to dance probably. I was probably right for me.
You're probably right. You're probably right. So here is the Sponge Factory.
Yeah, that is the tourist attraction shop that has all of the sponges you can buy and all kinds of sponge related, like handmade soaps and things that they sell. Next door is a cigar factory where they have cigars for sale, and it's decorated outside with wooden sponge divers. And then on the inside, there's all these very nice tourist attractions.
It's all touristy.
But it's really nice little things you can buy for people. And there's all the different flags of different nations. There's the Canadian, the Greek flag, the American flag, and I think that's Cuba. I'm not sure.
There are a lot of places to eat in Tarpon Springs.
Yes, and they are good. Our friends just opened up a Greek restaurant too. I just wanted to say that. That's in Newport Richey. But this is Hellas, and this is very special to me because my father took us out to dinner. This is the bakery there. But we went and we had a beautiful dinner with 12 people, a small, quaint wedding with about 12 people going out to dinner at Hellas restaurant. And this is the restaurant where we went. And this is the restaurant. On the other side of the restaurant is our larger tables with murals of Greece all over, and the food is delicious. We had a wedding cake there, and it's very special to me.
They were walking down the street going, we just got married. We just got married. Her and Andrew and I, we just got married.
Yeah, we were walking down the street saying we just got married, and we ran into a parade. There was a parade.
It was hilarious.
On the same day, there happened to be a parade. So all these clowns were giving me like
it was hilarious.
necklaces and stuff. They're walking by, congratulating us. And we didn't organize it that way. We didn't know there was going to be a parade on our wedding day, but there was. It was fantastic. So that's a Mark Bakery, yeah.
And of course, here's the market also.
That's the market. This is pen and ink again, and that's gouache, which is like a heavy watercolor. It's like an opaque watercolor as opposed to regular watercolor. And the Hellas Bakery one was not pen and ink. That was the micron marker. The line is very similar, so a lot of people don't know it. But if you look carefully, this line goes a little thick to a little thin when you use it. And some of the nibs go very thick to thin, but I like the really fine one. This is the really fine one, which I'm trying to get back to. There's a big big boat in there too. There's like it's a tourist attraction also, but it's just a really nice town. It's fun, and they have a big church too called St. Nicholas's, which is the ceiling is just absolutely superb. It's like going to see Michelangelo's work on the ceiling sometimes in the St. Nicholas's church.
Do you guys Greek dance?
George used to when he was a kid, right?
No, I'm
George?
done with. Yeah, I'm done with those.
He used
I've
to.
done too many Greek weddings and
Yeah.
christenings and doing it over and over again. Yeah, it's all fine and good. I respect it for what it is, but it just reached a point where being forced as a kid to do it constantly. You reach a point where you know what? That's enough. Anyway, that's all right. I found Leonard Skinner.
That's
Yeah.
right.
I tried to do it at the church because they have it on Mondays when I go do the murals with the kids. They all dance because that's their culture and they're learning it, and it's great. And my friend has two kids who aren't Greek, but her husband's Greek, and they've been dancing and they caught on right away, and they're doing great. But I have tried it, and it's like I'm a little.
You know what? She's awesome. You know why? She does it. Steps can be wrong. All you have to do is look at the joy in her face. Okay, don't look at her feet. She looks, she's got to go just by the happiness.
I don't do it too well.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If she doesn't look at her feet, she's doing great.
Well, George, I love, George, how you use the word joy, because that's what I think of when I think of Andrea.
You remember what I said at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Remember I said the words are going to become redundant.
That's it. Well, yeah, you have given me so much joy, and you have given the authors who I have interviewed so much joy.
That's great.
I love it.
One of the ones, Simone. Now, this is Simone O. Elias, and she was on my program for her book, Old Films, Young Eyes. And when I sent her a poster of this, I sent her a big poster, and she was so thrilled. Her family they just were amazed.
Really? Wow. That's lovely. I'm so glad that she liked it. I loved seeing her when she talked about her book and how she watched all the old films for 40 minutes at a time. And what was it? She devoted like a month or something to watching 3 a day.
3 months solid.
3 months solid to watching, I think it was like 3 a day or something.
Yes.
It was amazing. And then she wrote about them, all the notes. It's like how I do the journals, really.
I like that.
Yes, go ahead.
Patsy, I'd like to add something. You know what? If you really think about it, with Andrea's work, as I told her all the time, what's so refreshing about Andrea's work, think about it, okay? In today's world of cookie cutter, where everything's being done digitally, okay? If you take that into consideration, you know what I'm talking about. You almost can't see any kind of book that doesn't look the same anymore. Even when I was doing children's lunch and stuff like that, my retirement thing at the end, my little labor of love for the children. Even in kindergarten, all the books, everything looked the same. You know why? There was no charm. There was nothing that was unique, original, or even hand drawn. What I love about Andrea, and I told Andrea, really, to me, it's the most distinctive, is the fact all that's hand drawn. It's like somebody drawing sketches if you look at it, okay? But at the same time, look at how she captures the individual to begin with. So it's a little bit of everything in it, right? But nothing about it is artificial or digital, okay? It's all organic if you really think about it. As organic as you can get, art-wise, in today's world.
Exactly.
Am I making sense?
And the thing is, it comes from her heart. It comes
it's
from
not, her. Not even AI, just digital, right? Everything's digital. It's done by computer more than person, right? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but that's what I mean to say.
No, it's true. It's true. So much is now, it's done not just by computer, it's done by AI. So there's nothing real about it.
But that's only recent, but even the digital still the past 10, 20 years or so. If you even look at Andrew's work, yes, I'm going to give you one term, okay? It has charm, okay? There's a certain charm to all her journal pages if you really, at the end of the day. Why? Because everything is so organic. That's my feeling about it. And I told Andrew.
Yeah. I didn't know about it.
There is a wonderful charm, honey, because they're not perfect. Some are illustrations. It doesn't matter. They tell the story, though. Right. And you did it on your own, okay?
No, they are perfect because they're perfectly Andrea. They say everything about them.
Exactly. That's right.
You guys are really nice. Talk about
fact is, what do you mean nice? Fact is fact. Again,
I just heard the other day from Leonard Goldberg. You did a drawing for him, a journal entry for him, and he is so thrilled with it. He has been telling everyone about it.
Oh my gosh, he's a doctor. I love that.
Thank
That's
you for proving
amazing.
my point.
He's a doctor, George,
That's
and a
fantastic.
physicist. I
Well,
remember that.
and
And then he
Andrea,
was
like I
very
said,
humble. He was like, I only did a little physicist work, but they threw that in there anyway. And I was like,
but
yeah,
it
it
doesn't
counts.
matter. Yeah, but it
It
doesn't matter,
counts,
right? Yeah,
And his book was amazing, all about Sherlock Holmes.
there you go.
And I so funny. I draw more than I read and write, but I do read and write, especially children's picture books. That's my favorite genre. But his stories were so amazing. I didn't even know, first of all, that Sherlock Holmes was a fictional character. I thought he really lived. That's how much I've heard about him. But then you guys and his book, I thought, now I learned something that Sir Arthur Conan Doyle wrote A Scandal in Bohemia, which was about a story about Sherlock Holmes in the beginning when there was like a blackmail situation and um, Sherlock couldn't solve it. And that's the end of the book. And then he decided to write a book about whether or not maybe Sherlock Holmes had a daughter somewhere. So he came up with this whole new story about blackmail and about his daughter Joanna, who lived. And that was a whole situation too, because an opera singer came to him one day and told him that the king would not be able to marry the Scandinavian princess because she wants the king to be with her. So she decided she was going to show these scandalous pictures to everybody about her and the king. And Sherlock had to do something about it. It was a very interesting blackmail story. And then there's another, intertwined with another interesting blackmail story with Joanna, who's born with deductive reasoning, like Sherlock Holmes, and she solves a mystery too. She solves another couple, and there's love involved. There's like a love story, and I think it's Watson Jr. who marries Joanna. Is that right?
Yes. Yes.
It's amazing. She goes into all of their Watson's like illegitimate daughter or something because he didn't want to get married, but he wanted to support the daughter.
Funny thing is, I enjoyed this interview so much because, of course, I lived in London, and I enjoyed talking to Leonard Goldberg about
Yeah,
London, and every place that he went, I have been to, and it's the same hotels, the same restaurants, and that's part of the joy that I
it
get from,
is. Yeah,
you
I
know,
lived in Fulham, outside London, and I went to St. Martin's School of Art for a little while. It was like a 6 month thing. I was 17. I was a bit young for what I wanted to do, and they all told me in art school. They looked at my portfolio and they said, "Your portfolio is beautiful, Andrea. What are you doing here? Go back to New York, where that's where it's happening." So I was misguided and went back to New York. But I got to see London, and that was something new. It was great.
now
The
here's
Van
another
Gogh
one
story.
who loves
Yeah.
your work. And
Oh,
Jonathan Sandloffer loves your work so much. And the funny thing is, he is a major artist. He is a big time
I have
artist
to
in New
see his
York
work.
City.
I have to see his work in New York City somehow, or I'll look it up online. I bet you he has some on Google search,
You can
right?
find his art.
I definitely
Sure,
would
you can
love to
find
see
it.
his art. And I think we looked at this one the last time that you had me on, and I did read somewhere that Van Gogh maybe didn't even commit suicide after all. That it might have been a crazy kid that was following him around that day.
Andrew,
That's
follow
part
the
of his.
stuff.
The interesting thing about Jonathan is he had a major exhibition in Chicago,
Really?
and the night before the exhibition, the gallery burnt down, and he lost
Oh,
everything,
no. Oh my
dozens and
God!
dozens of paintings.
Wow, that's
And
horrible.
that's he was not a writer then. He became a writer after that.
Isn't that amazing? The same thing happened to us. We had a house fire, and I lost a lot of work. I know what it feels like.
But you missed another thing too. That
But
talk about this guy was a major artist.
Oh yes.
the man
And he
who wrote
loved your
about Van
work.
Gogh.
Think about it.
Oh, I
And he
know. It's
loved
No,
your
that
amazing.
work. Think
Yeah,
about that.
exactly.
that's amazing. Yeah, there it is. That's what I wrote. And sometimes I have to go back and look at it and say, what did I say again? And it was fun trying to draw his face. Like I did a pencil first then, and
Remember,
then I did
this
the
guy is a
pencil
major
over.
artist, okay?
I know, it's
Think about that.
amazing.
And look at what you did. And he loved it. It
Yeah,
just goes to
and look,
show
it
you.
says the art. Van Gogh was saying, after seeing Monet and the Impressionists, my work became more vibrant. Maybe something happened to me after I saw Danny Gregory's work.
I think he sees the charm personally. I'm telling you, Andrew.
The
To me
charm.
personally, I see a lot of charm in all your work.
Thanks.
There's a lot of charm.
And with
And
the
you can't fake it. See, the thing is, honey, but you can't fake
yeah,
charm.
what the journals do for me though
It's
also is
genuine.
that I get to write too. Like
Remember.
what the people are saying, it's good because I like to organize the space with the writing to the speech bubbles, and I like the composition and trying to do that.
What
Yeah.
you put together is always very clever, very insightful. You listen to the interviews, and you take in the essence. That's a beautiful thing. You capture
Exactly.
exactly
Thank
the
you.
right thing. You always, whatever you do, when you do a drawing, when you do a journal entry, you capture the essence. You pick out the
Thank
thing
you.
that really stands out from their interview every time. It's just a thrill for me to see it.
Because what she does is honest from the
Exactly.
heart. It's amazing how when something from the heart and soul, it conveys.
Each one takes me at least 3 hours.
Regardless of
You know,
that, honey,
each
it
one.
doesn't
Yeah.
matter. It's
But I
okay.
love doing it for that reason.
I don't want to interrupt.
Oh my gosh, this lady did. She wrote a story. Oh my gosh, what's her name again? I'm sorry. I'm getting overexcited because I remember
Dr.
reading it.
Christina
Christina
Laporte,
Laporte. Yes, Christina Laporte.
Oh,
a
Oh my
cardiologist.
God. Wow. Yeah, she did a thriller about organ harvesting. I don't know if if I really want to read this one. I mean,
is it
It's a
nonfiction or
thriller.
fiction?
She's been
yeah,
a cardiologist for years,
yeah,
but she came out with this idea of what if, because of course she'd sent many patients to for heart
A lot of stuff
transplants.
going on. No, no, that's fine. Absolutely.
So
yeah. She talked about how billions of dollars were lost with the organ
Well,
harvesting.
I have my suspicions, but anyway. And she also loved Andrea's art. She enjoyed the art, the journal page.
oh yes, again, Andrea captures all the essential parts, the nature of plants,
Yeah,
about
she said that the people were shooting themselves in the head to
Hold
keep
on.
their hearts
I remember.
available.
You know what? I remember this now. I
Yeah,
remember.
it was amazing. And she said that she came across a book called The Art of Fiction, and she
Holy
started writing in
smoke!
her 40s, which is that just goes to show you can start any writing and you can start art anytime. You can start when you're 75, and you like my dad started. I taught my dad some drawing when he came over to Florida,
Mhm.
rest his soul, but he got really good. I would try to kick him around and say, "See, Dad, that's the negative space. Just get that right, and it'll get the other space." And he ran with it, and he started doing drawings. And he went on trips, my dad, to all these different places in the world and made line drawings and put like 10 of them together in a frame and gave them after he passed away. We gave them to my niece because she has 7 children, and she hung up on the wall. That's Grandpa John. He does art in his 90s. He died at 93, and he was doing art at 93. So it just goes to show you, you can start anytime. You can be really good anytime. That's what's great about the arts, the art and
and
writing.
you're right. Art is so art and music, because those are things that you can do
Music.
no matter how old you are. Even play a tune, play an instrument, and it's good for the mind. People don't realize that it helps to keep your mind active. And
And for the heart and soul as well,
exactly, exactly.
because it drives other things inside you with natural rhythms of life and everything else. If you really think about it, we're always finding. Every day we're discovering something new, regardless of how old we are or how long we've been on this earth. It doesn't matter. We're always going to find something new.
I know that Andrea likes nature. She likes to be outside drawing
Yes, absolutely.
flowers
Yeah,
and
I was a florist for 25 years with flowers, and we made all kinds of designs. And I do love floral design, still do. I like to draw flower cards a lot. I must have made at least 300 of them and sold them all floral designs to people here and there. And I do love nature. I love going out in the back. We have a pond outside our house, and I go back there and just taking the breeze and all the different birds. And grew some pineapples this year, and actually 5 years ago we've had pineapples for a long time. But I just, because I was a florist, I love it. And I have a part time job as a cashier at Hobby Lobby, and they treat me really well. And I really only have to work between 2 and 4 days a week. So it's great.
one of the things, knowing that you love nature, I was very impressed. This author was on, and she wrote a book called A Wolf Called Fire. And of course, luckily, you don't have any wolves in your backyard. My
Yeah.
brother and sister in law, they do have wolves in their backyard.
Oh my gosh.
They live in northern Michigan. They have wolves. One day, my sister in law went walking outside. She went out the back doors, and as she walked around the corner, she was face to face with a bear. Face to face.
Oh my
Now,
gosh.
that's really getting into nature.
That you would freak out, right? I would freak out. I would be
And
like,
I
not
think
here the whole day.
I sent you some photos of deer that come to their back door, and
Yes.
they feed the deers apples during the winter.
Yes.
So,
George
but
loves pets too. He
so
worked in a pet shop. Oh, this is the Wolf Call Fire. Yeah,
And the
she's
same,
great. Yeah, Roseanne Perry.
same.
I remember I looked up some photos of the wolves to try to get them looking more like wolves because I was a little iffy on that. And it's okay to go by photos. It's also okay to go by drawings that are over 50 years old because that's the rule. Apparently, you're not supposed to copy. And I found that.
So she was another journalist that enjoyed it, Patsy. She was
Oh,
another one
she
that
loves
enjoyed
it.
the.
She loves it. This is you again. You capture the story. You find the essence, and I think the wolves look just perfect. They are really great. I love them.
Yeah, and the whole story is told from the viewpoint of the wolf, right?
Yes,
That's what's so amazing. And it was inspired by a real Yellowstone wolf pup named
that's right.
Worm. It's
A
about
real wolf.
and how he got to be a leader. We were talking about that. George and I watch the nature shows a lot, and we were talking about how the animals all are like innately competitive, and I said that's the difference between man and the animals.
No,
We
honey.
don't have to be competitive.
The
They have
strongest
to
have to
be.
survive.
Yeah, but
That's
we can
always about.
choose.
It's
We
always
can
the strong.
choose to
Yeah.
not be competitive
The
and
leader of
just
the
get
pack always
along.
has to be the strongest. The alpha
But
male.
the animals, they just have to be one over the other,
They
or
have to.
right, biting this one and that one,
Or they
and
won't
trying to get
survive
bigger,
anymore.
and the little one, the runt, always loses. It's not like that with people. People can be less competitive and get along if they try. The animals can.
We can hope. We can hope, Andrea. We can hope. Okay, now just a minute. Let me see. I think we have George is going to play us another song.
Yes, George. You gonna play us
Sure.
another song?
Before we leave.
Right.
Okay.
Sure.
Beautiful.
I'll do
Thank
it right
you.
now. What now?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I think this would be a
Oh,
good
yeah.
time because we're gonna have to get
This
going
is
soon.
actually, I'll tell you what else going on in Florida, right?
Huh?
It's funny, somebody that we lost years ago in 1977, Ronnie Van Zant from Leonard Skinner, wrote this song way back when, of course, prior to his passing, about all about what was going on in Florida at the time when Florida was being bought up by everybody and turned into subdivisions and so on and so forth, right? The mass purchasing of land and the mass putting up of homes and all that. He wrote a song called, people don't know about it, called, let me sing it. 3, 4. This life that I live took me everywhere. There ain't no place I ain't never gone. Saying that you heard so many times, Lord, there ain't no place like home. Did you ever see a street gator protect your youngin'? A fish in the river swimming free? Did you ever see the beauty of the hills in Carolina? Or smell the sweetness of the grass in Tennessee? And Lord, I can't take any change. All I can do is write 'em in a song. 'Cause I can see the concrete slowly creeping. Lord, take me in mind before that comes. Like to see a mountain stream flowing. Did you ever see a youngin' with its gun? Did you ever stop to think about the air you're breathing? Well, you better listen to my song. And Lord, I can't take any changes. All I can do is write 'em in a song. 'Cause I can see the concrete slowly creeping. Lord, take me in mind before that comes. trying to put down no big city. But the thing they write about us is just a bore. You can take old boy out of good old Dixie, but you'll never take no Dixie from no boy. And Lord, I can't take any changes. All I can do is write 'em in a song. 'Cause I can see the concrete slowly creeping. Lord, take me in mind before that comes. I said, Lord, take me in mind before that comes.
Wow. Exactly. Exactly.
Well, that's a song that I always love by Skinner. You can hear the words, right? It's all about how we're giving up the state of Florida, basically.
Yeah. Exactly. I
It's funny, amazing, but think about it, Patsy. He wrote that before 1975. Think about that.
I know. I know.
What is not happening next? So I thought that's why I did that. That was in honor of that. I thought, oh, because of our love with nature.
That was beautiful.
No, that's wonderful. It's beautiful. And thank you both so much for joining me today for this very, very special program. And
Yeah, thank you. It's been an honor.
Thank you, Patsy.
you are
Really.
both joys in my life and really golden threads that have come through my life and made it really shine. So thank you both very much.
Thank you, Patsy. Thank you so much. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. Okay.
You too. Thank you.
Bye bye. Bye now.
Bye bye.